have fans waiting in the wings because it's their Olympic champion who's up next in the gold medal match.
On target number 1, representing Turkey, the Olympic champion, Mete, Gazoz. On target number 2, representing France, Chirault. Judge of the match, once more, Mr. Benny Strube.
So here we go, Mete Gazoz from Turkey, world number 10 at 23 years old, is the reigning Olympic champion from Tokyo. He won the first Grand Prix this season in Lilleshall and going for his second gold in this circuit event here in Croatia. Goes up against the 25-year-old Frenchman, world number 19, Thomas Chirault, winner of the Vegas shoot this year. So another high quality match. The top 2 seeds from the ranking round face off against each other for gold here in Croatia.
This matchup has happened before, if I remember correctly, and I think it was the Olympic qualifier actually that led to Mete going to the Olympic Games and eventually becoming Olympic champion. So the last time they met, there was a lot on the line. And I think a couple of years ago, we saw a bit more of Thomas Chirault on the finals venues. He was shooting a bit more consistently. And I think he recognizes that fact because last couple of days when I looked at his social media, he posted something with the hashtag she is back. So he recognizes that he has been away for some time, but now he says he's back and he's in it to win it, I think.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. Now, the last arrow looked to be a line cutter. Certainly was called that in venue. Important to check this one because it's a 1-point difference in favour of the Frenchman. If that 9-10 liner is marked as a 10.
Chirault scored the second result in the qualification round, 1 point less, 5.57. Was preceded also in 1:16, where he defeated Mete from Romania, 7-1. Then in the 8th final, Oleski Hudbin 6-2. Gloria Miu 6-2 in the quarterfinal, and Dan Olar in the semifinal 6-4. It was 26-26, 1-1 tie score.
So
okay,
it was
confirmation.
Go on, Chef.
Confirmation that we have a tied set score. The arrow from Thomas was upgraded to a 10, and therefore 26-26.
So nothing separates the archers after the first set. Let's have another go. Time for set number 2.
Seems like the wind is maybe not as bad this match. Just looking at the stuff around, like the flags and the banners, and although he's taking an awfully long while to get this shot off.
Another good opportunity to look at technique as well. I mean, just look at the finishing position at full draw for Gazoz, bent over. Whereas Chirault
Mete has a
much more
very
upright.
Mete has a very peculiar technique in that regard, where he kind of leans into the shot, both to the front of his feet, but also leans back a little bit. Whereas Thomas is like, it's almost like a capital T. It's just one line straight up and then two lines straight to the side. So it's a bit more, almost textbook. And then he has a little bit of different release as well, where Mete's release is kind of flowy. You can see the fingers leave the string, and then his hand just kind of flows backwards. That was, again, not the best example, because he had a bit of a long hold. But the release of Thomas is a bit more static, if you will. So that you can see that the fingers don't relax as much as the fingers of Mete do, and his hand kind of stays in the same position. He just I wouldn't say he plucks the string, because that has a bit of a negative tone to it, but it almost looks like it.
Saw a couple of long holds there from both archers in that second set. Is that just down to wind conditions?
I think so, yeah, because you're not so certain about your side being out of the middle. So it's easy to just wait for the wind to die down a little, so that you can aim in the middle before you shoot your shot. And in recurve archery, that's a bit easier than with compound archery, because you can decide to pull or not to pull, and you can always just release if you need to. With compound archery, you're a bit more dependent on what type of release you use, and how comfortable you are with making it go off on command.
1981 Veronica's Cup, 2021 the Quota Tournament for Tokyo, the Spring Arrow Tournament, 2 times.
Set number 3 in this recurve men's gold medal match. Thomas Chirault from France taking on the Olympic champion from Turkey, Mete Gazoz. Gazoz leading 3-1.
10 for Thomas Chirault.
Another difference in technique is the way they put their hand in their grip. If you look at Mete, he has like a very clear angle on his knuckles compared to his bow, about 45 degrees, but it's not exact science. Whereas Thomas almost has his grip straight. You can see his knuckles are almost pointing straight, so the angle is much sharper. And yeah, that's interesting, because typically that would mean that you either hit your arm or that you grip your bow. And gripping your bow is not really being done a lot by high-level archers. That's why they have that finger sling, that little rope attached to their fingers, so that they can let the bow jump out of their hand straight, and don't affect it too much. Thomas he doesn't hold his bow, but he catches it with his fingers. A lot of wind there, so this is not going to be a beautiful shot, I think.
Oh, he's holding on, isn't he?
He needs to. That was, I was going to say he didn't pull it through the clicker before releasing. I think he was in a time pinch. And if you shoot your arrow and the clicker hasn't gone yet, the clicker will affect the flight of the arrow. And for a right-handed archer, that means that your arrow will drift off to the right. Typically also low, but I think he also adjusted for that.
Yeah, they both struggled there a little bit with the wind, but from a solid winning position. It's definitely blowy out there. But from a solid position there, Chirault with that last arrow going into the 5, I don't want to say gave the set away, but he opened it up when perhaps Gazoz would have thought this one's gone.
Yeah, and that's just what weather circumstances can do, because I think in any other wind still circumstance he wouldn't have shot a 5. It's just that there was so much wind in that shot, he was holding on and waiting for the wind to die down, but it never died down. And that put him in a bit of a pinch in terms of time, and he needed to shoot. Decided not to pull it through the clicker, or decided that he needed to release before the clicker went, and that will make your arrows go to the right. So he could have maybe aimed off to the left a bit, but yeah, it's not something you kind of think about in a moment like that. You just go for it, and yeah, the 5 was the result.
Chirault is going to shoot to stay in the match.
So a 5-1 lead for Mete Gazoz from Turkey. Thomas Chirault, Chichi, as Chef said he's known. Said he's back. He's definitely back in this gold medal match, but he needs to fight hard now, trailing by 4.
Seems to be just out.
It's probably a 9, but 9.
I think in this circumstance, in these windy conditions, you would also favor Mete for, always training in Turkey, where typically it's quite windy, either in Antalya or in Belek or wherever he's shooting. Yeah, so I think he just has a lot of experience shooting in wind, and he seems to always top the tables when it comes to competitions in windy conditions.
It's a big opportunity here for Gazoz. An 8 to be sure. A 7 might be enough. Puts it into the 10 for a definite win here for the Olympic champion. A 7-1 victory over Thomas Chirault for Mete Gazoz, who claims the gold here in Umag, Croatia, at the second stage of the European Grand Prix.